One more time. Welcome back, everybody, to the second episode of Chit Chats with 20 something, where we talk about life, dreams, and everything in between. I'm your host, Poonam, and through this podcast, I share some nitty gritty details while having some heart to heart conversations about life in your 20s. This episode is dedicated to the universal experience that we all go through at some point in our lifetime: heartbreak. Whether you're going through it right now or if it's a distant memory, stick around as we explore ways to cope up with it and grow through the pain. So, in your 20s, and you just went through a breakup, or you feel like you're heartbroken right now. First things first, every day, I want you to get up and remind yourself that it is okay. I know you've heard this a lot of times before, but the most important part and the first step to take towards any difficult situation or anything that is emotionally challenging that you're going through, we all go through this once in our lifetime. So, your reactions, your coping mechanisms, your emotions, they are all valid. It's okay to grieve the loss of a relationship and the dreams you had with that person, the future you planned with them. When I went through the split with my ex of 3 years, I couldn't even imagine my life without him. I felt like it didn't exist because for a very long time I had constantly put him in my future and, imagining him that he will be beside me through all the changes in the life that's going to come in the future. But once you part ways with them, then sometimes it feels like all those dreams and also kind of your future is crashing down. Realize the fact that they're gone and slowly you will be moving on. You're not gonna like it, but that's your reality now. Next up is self care. Well, while this is a no brainer, but a lot of the times people tell you, after a breakup, focus on yourself and, take care of yourself, spend time alone. But what does it truly mean? What does it truly mean for you? Well, for me, it's like getting the basics in place. Exercising, getting enough sleep, meditating, journaling. But what after this? Because this alone is not gonna do it. Well, there is so much more to it. It could be finding the things you liked as a kid. For instance, painting or picking up that instrument again that you used to play as a kid. Anything that makes you forget about the whole world just for a few minutes and gives you a break from the constant thoughts and the loops you have in your mind going on about the fact that you feel heartbroken. Anything that helps you be in the present moment. I'm crying because it does help. It lets you process, puts you in the most vulnerable spot. But the more you cry, I feel like the more you process, and slowly you're giving yourself the permission to be okay, with it. There's no other way to truly process a heartbreak. In a nutshell, you have to go through it. You cannot escape it. You have to feel it. You're feeling sad, you have to feel sad. You feel weak, you have to feel weak. You have to feel through it head on. Don't try to avoid those feelings. Sit with them. I've heard this a lot. If you feel like crap, sit with it. Feel it. Go through it. And then let it go. Having said that, remind yourself that you have people who still care about you. You've only lost one person in your life. You still have your family, you still have your friends. You are not alone. I know sometimes it might feel like they don't understand or they cannot relate to what you're going through, but you don't even have to share what you're going through with them. Just spending time with them and having them around will give you that emotional support that you're looking for without even expressing your feelings to them. And if you can find the words, then do it. And who knows, it might just give you a different perspective, to look at things differently. Following up with self care and family support comes your journey to self discovery. This is the best part, this is the fun part, and which is why, after a breakup, don't hate me on this, but rebounds is not the way to go. It's just not it. If you are not giving yourself enough time after a breakup, you might find yourself or end up in the same pattern, repeating the same mistakes with the next person. And I have learned this the hard way. No matter how much it hurts, no matter how alone you feel, you have to give yourself the time to collect yourself and feel like yourself again. Rediscover who you are outside of that relationship. What hobbies have you neglected? What dreams have you put on hold? Embracing your individuality can be a powerful tool to heal and grow. For me, spending time alone led me to really getting to know myself, and I realized that I was far from it. I thought I had an identity. I thought I knew myself, decent enough, but there's so much more. I was not ready. It allowed me to get to know myself more and also create my own happiness. You know what I mean? Because when you're with someone, you're kind of happy together. But when you're by yourself, it's your job. The entire responsibility falls on you. You should be the only source of giving yourself dopamine. Let's just put it that way. And if you're not doing that for yourself, and if you depend on someone else, and once that's taken away, that's just another breakdown or another spiral waiting to happen. So spend some time alone. Rediscover yourself, rebuild yourself. It can be really freeing. Learning from the experience. What do you learn from a failed relationship? This is the time when you reflect on the relationship, the good and the challenging parts. What have you learned about yourself? What are the things that you want in a relationship? And what are the things that are completely uncompromisable, non negotiables? What you could have done better? How could you have communicated better? What boundaries can you set for yourself? Boundaries is a big one. Up until now, I had none. I was just going by, going with the flow. And that attitude, going with the flow and let's see how it goes, I am not going to do that anymore. And neither am going to accept that from anyone else. The only people who say, let's go with the flow, are the ones who don't know what they want. You don't want to be around those people. Have clear and honest intentions from the beginning. And it can save you from a lot of emotional investment in the wrong person. So find your boundaries and follow them like a religion. That's what's gonna save you. Jokes. Okay. Last but not the least, this is mostly for me, but also for the girls like me out there. Please burst your bubble. Burst your perfect relationship bubble. It is so easy to romanticize relationships and expect your connection to be picture perfect. Everybody wants that. Everybody wants an epic love. And sometimes you do find it, not all the time. Realize that everyone goes through rough patches. Nobody is perfect. Hence, our relationships can never be perfect either. And that's okay. They don't have to be perfect. Setting realistic expectations for yourself can help you navigate the highs and lows. Being aware of your attachment style can also help a lot. For instance, I realized that I had a anxious attachment style. I recently learned about it and it makes so much sense to me now. Basically, when you have anxious attachment style, you get attached too quickly, too soon, and you really idolize the person. You think there's nobody better than them. You guys are so compatible together. Girl, how do you know? You've just seen him for 2 weeks. You don't know him. You think you know him, but you don't. It might feel like it. You feel like your gut is telling you. Our gut can be wrong too. In the beginning, everybody is putting their best foot forward. But that's not how we truly are all the time. People show their true personality after months of being together with you. So take it slow, let things calm down, and get boring a little bit, and then see how much efforts are being put into the relationship from your end and from the other end. Who knows? You think you like them so much, but you might not, which is why it's important to give it time, to take it slow. Unless you have different intentions from the beginning, that's a whole different story. But right now, we're talking about some serious relationship stuff. So the butterflies you're feeling, you know, you know what I'm talking about? Kill them. You don't need them. As painful it is right now, always remember that your future holds endless possibilities. This is not the end of it. Obviously, it feels like the end of it, but it's not. Even if you don't believe it, remind yourself of that. Your 20s are a time of growth and change, and heartbreak is just another chapter in your story. Focus on building a future that aligns with your goals and dreams. Life is a way of surprising us when we least expect it. That's it for today's episode on dealing with heartbreak in your 20s. I hope you got some value from it and you can relate to it. Be patient with yourself and embrace your journey of self-discovery. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and share it with someone who might need it. Until then, take care of yourself and your heart. See you in the next episode.